All right, today I'm going to set up a really cool search that's really quite simple, and that is looking up aged listings on the MLS. Now, as we all know, the longer it sits on the market, the more motivated people are, but we can take it a step further. And again, we can do this inside PropStream and no realtors needed. So if I wanted to just pick some dated realtors, I'm just gonna dated listings from realtors. I could pick, I'm just gonna pick Orlando, Florida here, because it's a market I'm looking more and more at. And I can pop in here and I say, you know what? I can go into this MLS status section and I can say, show me everything that's on the market. You know, this is 4,710 properties, but show me stuff that's been on the market at least 120 days. And the reason I'm doing 120 days is because I know some parts of the Orlando market can move a little smaller, or not smaller, slower. I'm recording this in the evening, so if I miss a word, just bear with me. I'll correct myself. And so now I know that the price point of this market can be kind of high, so right off the bat we could say under 120, but show me anything that's listed for under 200,000 out of that list. And still 523, so quite a bit. And so another filter I might put in here is, let's go under property. Well, before we go on property characteristics, we could say, hey, how many of these are absentee owned? Well, 388. In the Orlando market, there's a lot of international owners as well, so I'm not surprised by a little bit larger number. And I could actually, if I wanted to see if they were vacant, I could do that. That takes it down to 34. The trouble with vacant in a market like Orlando is there's a lot of vacation homes. So sometimes a property that's a vacation home can be tagged as vacant. So it's something that can be a little bit off in some markets. So I'm going to leave it at any for now. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to make sure my properties are all single family homes. So I'm going to go under here. And you'll see that actually was a little bit better filter. It took me down to 97 leads. And now I've got a much a more refined list of what I can and can't, or I mean what I'm really after. Okay, now if I want to include the owner occupants, I could do it, and you see it goes up to 153. So you know that's a little bit more, but we're going to stick to just investor owned right now, 97 at 200 and under. So one more criteria I'd like to add is I'd like just 3-bedroom homes, and that takes me down, and then I like to have at least 1,000 square feet. Okay, so now I'm at 64. But now these are definitely properties I'm much more interested in. And so now what I might do, now I'll check back to owner occupants, and okay, it added 40 something back. So maybe I'll play with that in the future. But for right now, we'll stick with this. So in summary, Orlando homes, investor owned, single family, at least 3 bedrooms, at least 1,000 square feet. They're on the market, and they've been on the market for at least 4 months, under $200,000. Okay, so what I can now do is say close, and I can go ahead and save that search. And I'm going to call that Orlando, let's see if I can type here, Orlando absentee under 200. Okay, and then I'm going to say email when new properties become available. I'm going to say, well, you know what, do that for me daily. Okay, and then I'm going to say save. Okay, now I've got my list, and I can pop over here to my properties, and we're going to go look for what I just created. And let's see, where did we put it? Where did we put it? Okay, I'm sorry, we didn't add it to a list. That's what the problem is. So when you do this, you have to pull it up, then we have to add it to a list. We save the search, I just skipped the step. Okay, so now we're going to create a search, and we're going to say Orlando absentee under 200, and we're going to save that to my list. So the first email, I could leave it as where I said sent to me daily, and they would just send me stuff each day. But we're going to take it one step further, and we're going to go in here. Now I should find my list. And let's see, here it is, Orlando absentee. Okay, so here's my 64 properties. Now I could go, with these, I can just like go ahead and email the agents tomorrow morning and we could totally do it. But what I really want to do is I want to select on and say automate the list. I'm not even sure I have to click select all for that. But then if something, so, this property, this list should actually grow probably every day because new properties are usually added. And so I'll just say, well, you know what, let's add to this list each day, check. And if someone hits the 120-day mark, go ahead and add them on. And then some of these properties, of course, are going to sell. So when one sells, we're just going to say remove from the list. Okay, so once one sells, bye-bye, it goes. Okay, then I can click daily. And so each day it's going to check for properties to add or sell. And so this list is going to move from this marketing list section down to the automated list section. Okay, so you'll notice it disappeared here and you'll go here and now it's there. So now this list every day is going to be like doing its thing and adding. And one of the cool things is you'll see that we have a status here, the actives here, the pendings, and lo and behold, a lot of these properties are already pending. Okay, so they've been sitting on the market, but they're pending, and that's so it gives you all the criteria about them and so on and so forth. And if we wanted to, we could just take out the pendings and say, hey, you know what? Let's go back to that criteria. So I could go here and say, well, let's add one more filter, and that's an MLS status here of active. So if I click active, then that would be great. These are the things that are they're active, they're just sitting, waiting for someone. Now I could go after the pendings and say, well, and just submit backup offers if I wanted to. And I could do that, and that would refine it. But if I really want to make sure they don't even have an offer out there yet, I can refine this down to active. You notice my list went down to 25. But if I go to any and add my homeowners in, you'll see now I'm up to 33. So maybe I could leave it that way. So if I did that, I could say close and I could click save. And actually, I don't have to click save, it'll save it automatically. So this thing will do its thing. So in that scenario, I can say, you know what, let's add to the existing list. And well, the list is automated, so we're actually going to be creating a new list. I'm sorry. So this will be, let's back up here. We're going to get rid of this list, but I already have my criteria, so let's resave my search. Okay, and this will be Orlando ABS under 200. So we're doing a new search. And we'll just leave that at daily. Okay, now we're going to add this and we're going to do a new list because Orlando ABS under 200, and we'll just say take 2. Okay. All right, so now we've got that. We bounce over here and you'll notice here it is, take 2. So now let's try this again. We're going to say automate the list. And now we're going to be dealing with a little bit more refined data because we're only dealing with active listings. I scroll over and you'll notice now these are all active. So I literally cut the list in half by getting rid of the pendings. I can then go down to this automated list I have. This first one, go to actions, and we're just going to delete that list. And now that is gone. Okay, so now we've got the correct list in here. So not only did you see us create it, we've found an opportunity to improve it, created a new one, delete the old, and boom, now we are ready to go to town. And I can do this in all sorts of markets across the country, basically nationwide. And I can pull in these old listings. And not only that, I can see essentially, I mean, most of these properties are probably going to be overpriced. That tends to be why they tend to stick around, and figure out what's going on. Oh, and by the way, there's all this other data. So you can see some of these are investor owned, some of them are individual owned. I can go into these list filters and add and remove all this kind of information in here. So if I wanted to see who's got open loans, I could say, hey, you know what? Let's see what happens if we click just open loan balances for 4 positions of loans. And let's just see what happens. Let's see what, if we click it, I've never clicked that particular option. And you'll notice it's going to show me, hey, here's my open loan balances. Okay. This guy's got a second, that guy's got a second. And so I can actually look at that number and relate it back to the list price to figure out, okay, what's the stoop there? Okay, MLS says, hey, they're asking 175, but oh look, the estimated loan balance is about 149. And one thing you'll know, and there's even a lien on this one. How cool is that? And one of the things you'll notice is PropStream is actually trying to estimate loan balances based on information it has in the public record, things like interest rates, amounts, and so on, loan terms. There's a lot of stuff is public information. And so, and for example, a security deed or a deed of trust will say, hey, this is the loan amount and this is the maturity date. Well, it calculates, hey, is that a 10-year, 20, 30-year loan, and so on and so forth. And so you end up getting these estimates that actually it does a pretty good job of being in the ballpark. I've seen where PropStream is a lot closer to reality when I talk to the sellers than not. So it's really a powerful tool when negotiating offers. So you can filter this list further. I mean, there's like a bazillion items you could put in here and just in your search results. So extremely powerful feature on how to pull expired listings, or not expired, but old listings from the MLS, have them email you every day, customize what it looks, add them whenever someone hits that threshold, whether you do 90, 120, 150 days. We used 120 here. Or if something goes pending, guess what? Now it'll come off because my criteria says only show me if it's active. So if another one goes under contract, it'll just come off the list. If it falls through, guess what? It'll come back. So pretty powerful stuff. Enjoy it. And just another reason to rock and roll with PropStream. Thanks.